Sea turtles existed since the times of dinosaurs. They swarm in almost ocean-basin throughout the world. The life cycle of sea turtle begins when matured female lay its eggs on the nesting beaches. The process of nesting turtle may involve 7 stages. An entire process may take up 2 to 3 hours. For every successful nesting attempt, female deposited average of 100 eggs per nest. Then, the female will return to the waters to spend its time swimming around the nesting ground. It will return again to the same beach after 2 weeks to lay another egg clutches. The eggs will remain incubated for about 60 days. Under suitable environmental and physical cues, the hatchlings know it's finally time for them to emerge from the nest. By digging out the nest and crawling down the beach together in a fast pace, the hatchlings are able to avoid high-risk predation. Slope of the beach, crest of the wave, and the moonlight will help the hatchlings reach the water as they are provisioned. In water, a phenomenon known as swimming frenzy occurred and it may last for several days. Ocean current carries them passively away from the coast. However, it is estimated only 1 in 1,000 to 10,000 will survive to adulthood. The growing hatchlings spend their time in the open ocean, feeding on floating algae available. As they grow juveniles, they move to the shallow coastal water to feed on seagrasses and some invertebrates. The first few years of turtle life prior to the requirement into the foraging ground is known as lost years. Their movement and whereabouts during this period remains unknown. They spend most of their times in the foraging ground for about 10 to 15 years, where they reach sexual maturation. This new adult turtle will migrate over 100 to thousands of kilometers to their natal beach around the world to breed and nest. Then, the cycle begins again.
The locals start to harvest the turtle's egg extensively as it will give them fair amount of incomes. Weakness on local regulation and lack of enforcement by authority have made situation becomes worse.
Why conserving nesting ground for sea turtle is important? Firstly, aggregation ground for male and female turtles from various places to mate and breed. Both male and female turtles will return from distinct foraging and stay close to the nesting dish for mating and breeding. The location of the sea turtle nest has an important impact on nesting and hatching success, which is affect the embryonic development, fitness, sex determination, and regulating risk of predation. Next, store genetic unit from both parents from previous generation and allow continuation of the next generation. Female sea turtle typically nest biennially and lay several nests in a season. Genetic variation from both parents were inherited to the eggs and show further to be transferred to the next generation, ensuring the preservation of genetic materials of the population. Lastly, together with foraging ground, both habitat can provide information about particular individual. Study on the sample collected from both nesting and foraging ground provide insight into individual life history traits such as dietary, natal, and feeding origins. Understanding the marine megafauna's movement, behavior within and between habitats is useful for informing conservation management, especially for threatened species. Therefore, conserve the nesting ground of sea turtle is important in order to prevent any human activities from changing and destroying the sea turtle nesting habitat.
There are two solutions to overcome this issue. The first one is gazettement of major nesting ground. Sanctuaries serve as rehabilitation and provide recovery area for declining turtle population. Declaration as a sanctuary has prohibited commercial harvest of turtle eggs and other activities. In 2005, the protection of eggs increased significantly as Terengganu declared many major nesting beaches as sanctuary, such as Cagar Hutang. Sabah began conservation efforts in 1970s through major movement, result in over threefold increase in nesting density compared to records before 1980s. Currently, there are 11 turtle sanctuaries and hatcheries in throughout Malaysia managed by Department of Fisheries, Sabah Park Administration, and Sarawak Forestry Department. The second solution is Egg Collector License Program. Section 7, 9, and 10 of Terengganu Turtle Enactment 1951, Amendment 1987 permits who may collect turtle eggs and right to collect eggs for conservation purpose. Under Section 7, it states that persons with granted license, their employees, and anyone with explicit permission among those are allowed to collect eggs. Section 5, 6, 7, 12, 14, and 15 infringement toward these provisions will cause severe penalties taken into custody for investigation and prosecution. This enactment allowed turtle eggs to be fully incubated under controlled area where activities inside the area are strictly regulated. Strict licensing program controls the overexploitation and illegal harvesting of eggs by butchers. It is to make sure that eggs does not end up being exported and traded to other Malaysian states such as Kelantan and Pahang.